This week on Worldwide Gaming.
Liz reviews Saints Row 4. John checks out the top 10 sidekicks. A WG 101 in Quake. And a talk back with Ben Britten at Global Game Jam. Hello and welcome to Worldwide Gaming. I'm your host Ryan.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm John.
And today we have one of the more late reviews we've ever done, Saints Row 4. Have you guys either played them or?
I played a little bit of it and I was pretty impressed so far, so yeah.
I played a little bit of it at E3, but that was just me running around with the dubstep gun, just going wob, 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 wob at people, so I don't know if I got the full experience or if that's all there is to offer.
Coming from a fan who played the first one, it was my first Xbox 360 I ever got. I'm kind of disappointed in it. But before that, we actually have the forecast.
A distinct lack of precipitation is in the air with either the 5th or 9th release upcoming in the Halo series, depending on how you look at it. While 343 did a reasonable job with Halo 4, we're really not sure which way this release will go. Get ready to flex those creative muscles as Harmonix is set to rekindle our childhood memories with Fantasia Music Evolved, available for both 360 and Xbox One upon release. We're giving this a 3 on the WG nostalgia scale. Sunny Los Angeles is home to arguably the most important gaming conference. This year's E3 takes place June 10 to 12 and is set to have big crowds and even bigger announcements. If last year's weather holds true, we're in for a scorcher.
But even then, the Saints were not satisfied. For it's one thing to be revered as a hero. It is another to be a hero. And that, my friends, is where our journey begins.
People are often very quick to compare the Saints Row series to the Grand Theft Auto franchise, and that's with good reason. Saints Row did, for all intents and purposes, start off as a GTA ripoff. However, Saints Row quickly evolved into a game that was painfully self-aware and soon found its own footing as the funny series with zero limits that we have today. Saints Row knows what it is, and it knows what you want in a game. It knows you love explosions. It knows you've always wanted to fly a spaceship to what is love, and it knows exactly how you felt about the Mass Effect 3 ending. Saints Row 4, developed by Volition, had a bit of a bumpy ride on its way to Australia. Despite the success of Saints Row III, the publishers of the franchise, THQ, went bankrupt. Then, after being picked up by Deep Silver and quite a bit of hype during the E3 season, Saints Row 4 was refused classification in our fair nation not once, but twice, despite Australia's shiny new R18+ classification. After making a few cuts to make the game more acceptable for the classification board, Saints Row 4 finally arrived in Australia, bringing Screaming Eagle jet planes, dubstep guns, and just the right kind of mayhem that you'd expect from the series. Players once again become the boss, the leader of the Saints, and now, through a series of violent and bizarre mishaps, the President of the United States. When the evil alien overlord Zinyak and his army attack, the boss is imprisoned in a computer simulator of Stillwater, which fans will recognise from the previous installments of the series. With the help of Kinsey, your cynical tech expert, and Keith David, yes, as in the guy who voiced Captain Anderson in Mass Effect, Keith David playing himself, players must reunite their crew and save humanity from the Zinyak invasion.
If you die, I still become president.
While basically the same in playstyle to Saints Row III, Saints Row 4 does introduce some interesting new gameplay factors. Players now have superpower hacks that you can unlock within the simulation, which allow you to run faster, jump higher, and even move objects with your mind. If any other game were to introduce these, it'd be over the top and possibly a deal breaker. However, Saints Row is Saints Row, one of the few games that can really get away with doing whatever it wants to. Saints Row 4 doesn't entirely limit itself to one setting either. The game puts players in numerous situations, all incredibly different, ranging from a Tron-like cyberscape to a 1950s family sitcom. You'll operate tanks, complete text adventures, and even reunite with some old foes from the first two games. Saints Row 4 is a game that says why and asks you why not.
Leave it to the Saints. Brought to you by Friendly Fryer, the only choice in home cookware.
If you're a fan of the previous games, you'll be happy to know that the writing is, as per usual, up to Saints Row standard. It's full of laugh-out-loud moments and references to other games. In fact, Saints Row 4 is so full of references that the entire game is one big joke about the games we play, the people who play them, and the studios who make them. If you're a fan of self-aware humour in, like, the style of South Park, Saints Row 4 will be right up your alley.
I'm your #1 fan! Nice work, Oleg.
Customization is also at a new peak in Saints Row 4, with players being able to design just about every aspect of their character right down to their voice. Voice options include 3 male voices, 3 female voices, and Nolan North.
We say America is a country of opportunity.
It also boasts an impressive soundtrack ranging from 80s pop classics to the heaviest of metal tracks. It's a soundtrack that you'll probably want to pop into your MP3 player when you're finished. Of course, no game is perfect, and Saints Row 4 is far from it. Gameplay can sometimes feel like grinding, and some tasks become repetitive and rely on the game's excellent writing and dialogue to carry the missions through. The game also does have quite a few noticeable bugs, not just small graphical errors, but the kind that make you have to reset your game to progress further. In true Saints Row style though, the game goes as far as to make fun of its own flaws and bugs, which at least dampers a little bit of the frustration. So here's the thing about Saints Row 4. It knows what video games are, and it calls them out on it, all while providing players with an incredibly fun experience. With nothing to prove anymore and not a care in the world, Saints Row 4 is a must-have if you've ever had the desire to fling a man dressed as a rabbit over a building with your mind while rocking out to Cypress Hill. Saints Row 4 is fun, which is what games should be.
Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the show. Make sure you're following on us on all of the social medias. We've got Facebook for all the funnies and other good stuff, our Twitter account for all the on-the-go news, and of course our YouTube account for extra footage, extra interviews, and also all the latest episodes.